we had to learn martial arts first. My uncle, they taught us martial arts, and it was very informal. So we didn't learn from a school. We just learned from our uncles. So the training that we got was very informal, yet kind of formal at the same time. It's very old school training, so not the kind of training that you would see going to. We didn't pay our uncles, let's just say that, and so they treated us however they wanted to treat us, and so the training was very old school. If you watch like the old Shaw Brothers movies where the masters are beating on their students, yeah, that's kind of the training that we were receiving. I'll just talk about it briefly, but when people do these days, when you see the martial arts schools and people do testing for the next belt, they have to do a form, they have to break a board, or they have to show that they're competent in a couple movements. For us, that wasn't the case. My uncle would say, "Come at me. If you can hit me one time, I'll teach you the next technique." And we spent, yeah, it was not fun. So I think there's a couple weeks of failing to hit my uncle once, and once you're able to hit him, then you were able to learn the next couple steps. And so that's our martial training. And once we kind of got a little bit more competent, right around age 15 or so, then they started teaching us Qigong, and they wanted us to dive into a little bit more of the meditation. So the Qigong that we learned in the beginning was very martial based, a lot of very bringing a lot of energy out to the hands, to the feet, so you can use this type of energy for basically for striking. So it's very martial in the beginning. They told us that eventually you'll get to a point to where you will decide whether you want to continue with the martial arts and the Qigong and the meditation, or you'll decide whether you want to quit. And when they said it to us, we didn't realize what they meant by it. But as we begin to practice more of the meditation, as we begin to practice more Qigong, then we began to realize that there was a whole lot more to Qigong, and there was a whole lot more to meditation. And because of what we were experiencing at that time, then we began, a lot of us began to kind of drop out. So some of the things I'm talking about is just kind of, as you begin to practice Qigong and meditation, and at that time we were like 15, so a bunch of teenagers with raging hormones who couldn't sit still, trying to sit still and do meditation. When we practice, we started to kind of feel different things. Our awareness would deepen, and we would begin to see and feel things, and a lot of the things that, a lot of internal issues that you don't like about yourself, these things, a lot of issues that you have with yourself, these issues begin to rise from the meditation, from the practice, and you kind of have to learn how to deal with these things. Otherwise, if you can't deal with them, then they told you, if you can't handle it, you quit. And eventually we saw enough stuff to kind of scare us that that the majority of us kind of quit. And for me, for some reason, I was always curious, so I just kind of kept going. And we didn't. So my uncles, they didn't teach us for a while because a lot of us quit. And every once in a while, I would kind of go back and meet up with my uncles and get some individual training. And right around when I was like 18, 19, that's when it started to kind of spark back up again. So I faced a lot of my fears and pushed through a lot of the practice, and that's kind of how it led to where I'm at now. So I think if we just kept it straight up physical martial arts, then everybody would still be doing it today. Because the practice of Qigong and meditation, it teaches people. It teaches us about spirituality. It teaches us about mental calm, and it teaches us about a lot of the internal demons that we have within ourselves that we have to learn how to face. And I think that when you have to face a lot of these issues, and you're not ready for them, or you don't know how to deal with them, then that's where it becomes a very difficult issue, and so people will begin to quit. Right around 18, 19. I was starting to get, starting to develop more awareness to my body and my surroundings, things like this. And I asked my uncle about it, and he told me that you should buy books on qigong. And at that time, it was like I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. I was like, people write books on qigong, and I couldn't believe that people wrote books on qigong, because the way we culturally understand it, when we grew up, when we culturally understood that qigong, this practice of meditation, is secret. Secret techniques that are kind of kept very close, and they're considered treasures. So if you're worthy enough, then you can kind of learn these techniques. But when I found out that people wrote books, and there's DVDs and documentaries, and people are actually like teaching qigong publicly, it blew my mind. It was weird. It really blew my mind. I was kind of like blown away for like a good 3-4 days, and kind of had to like soak it in. And then I was like, really? And the first thing you know, I head to the closest Barnes and Nobles or Borders, and every single book there was, and every single DVD documentary that there was on qigong, I bought them all up. So I was doing a lot of my own research.